This week on Cruise In.
This has been taking a long time. We've literally been doing this for 30 years.
30 years in the making for this museum quality restoration.
My father was the original owner, so we've had it since 1954 in the family.
This heirloom has been in the same family for 62 years.
Well, it's had a frame-off restoration, and it's been reworked quite a bit.
The outside says 1946, but the inside says 2016.
And this car had been stored in a garage in West London for approximately 40 years.
An incredible journey and fantastic restoration for this racing Fiat. Plus,
what we have here is the package shelf is out of the car. One thing that's like a masonite material.
the Buckeye guys install speakers into a classic Mustang. Saddle up, Cruise In starts now. This week we're at the Horse Country Motor Classic, and we're not horsing around. Hi, I'm Will Burge. Welcome to Cruise In. We're in Chagrin Falls, Ohio. We have foreign classic cars, we have equestrian, it's all on the polo grounds. So let's get started.
We have a 1954 TF-MG. It's the last of the T-Series for MG.
You don't see a lot of these around. How long have you had it?
Actually, my father was the original owner, so we've had it since 1954 in the family.
Really? Did you buy it brand new?
He did buy it brand new.
So this has not gone anywhere else but right in the Horner family.
It's been in the Horner family in this valley forever, yes.
When did you get it from your father?
I conned it off him when I was 16 years old for $1. He made me promise to keep it in the family, and then it took me 20 years to get the title.
Yeah, that's a con for sure. $1 is what it took to get
$1 had to stay in the family.
And you drive this thing around as well?
All the time,
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Hey, you have to. If it's been in the family that long, you get the miles on it, right?
Absolutely. My mom and dad actually dated in this car before they got married, and my current wife, my only wife, Mary Dell, and I dated in this car in high school.
Wow, how about that?
It's fun, absolutely.
That is really cool. So this is a real blast from the past. It almost looks like you're transported back in time when you see this car. Now, when you go out and you take it, let's say you just take it up for ice cream at the corner store or something, are people walking up and checking it out? You got kids coming up, so it's got to be a real eye catcher, right?
It is a head turner. It has some features on it that are a little bit unique. It has actually original Barani Racing aluminum rims on it, wire rims, which were an option. And my dad was a pretty fast driver, so he actually bought 6 rims in case he trashed one. So I have the 6th one at home. So,
wow, so you got a backup there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else about this car do you love?
It has the original Bosch driving lamps on it, a fog and a driving lamp. They're not reproductions. They're very original. All the parts on this car are pretty much all original. Obviously, it's been repainted, but it's basically an all original car. 1250cc motor, 4-cylinder, max speed maybe 50 miles an hour. 60 downhill, but it cruises about 45 is his favorite speed.
Well, people always say you weren't a twinkle in your parents' eye when they were in their car, but it's like you passed down lineage here.
It really is. It's fun, and I've got 4 kids. I got to decide who's going to keep it for the family.
Oh, geez. How are you going to decide that?
I'm not sure yet. I'm still collecting cars, so if I have 4, then we're just going to shuffle it and
there you
draw
go.
straws.
Now you have to have 4.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be an arm wrestling match or something.
Yeah, one for each. Yeah,
there
absolutely.
All right, John, this is quite a cool car you got here. What is it?
It's a 1956 Fiat Abarth 750 GT Corsa, which was a works race car.
And this was actually a race car at one point, right?
Absolutely. It raced in 1957 in several races in Italy.
And this was in a pretty famous race at one point, correct?
Yes, this raced in the 1957 Mille Miglia, which literally in Italian means 1,000 miles, on public roads throughout Italy. And it's the last year that they ran that race because a Ferrari cartwheeled into the crowd and killed a dozen people, and so they discontinued the race after 1957.
But this car did pretty well in that race, didn't it?
This car finished 3rd in its class, and they did classes by engine size. This has a 750cc engine, and the important thing about these cars is that all 3 cars that won the 750 class were this model, and all 3 of them finished ahead of the winner of the 1000cc class. That's how dominant these cars were.
It's crazy because the engine is so small, but this car, you're telling me the average speed in that race was astronomical for that.
Yeah, they averaged in this particular car 74 miles per hour over the course of 1,000 miles, including stops. But this is a very lightweight car. It's made out of aluminum. It's about 1,100 pounds, so you don't need a lot of horsepower to make it go fast.
So how did you originally find this car?
So I found it through a friend of mine in Europe. This car had been stored in a garage in West London for approximately 40 years. The car was discovered in 2011, and I was able to acquire it and bring it back to its race condition at that time.
And when you bought it, I mean, he had told you that it was in that race, but you didn't really have any of that proof or anything, right?
Correct. So it was thought to have raced in the Mille Miglia, and I spent 3 years researching the car's race history and getting all the documentation together to prove that this is actually the car that finished third in that race.
And what's your profession right now?
I'm head of communications for Diebold.
You should be a detective, is what you should be. I feel like you
you.
missed your calling with that. That's, I mean, 3 years, the hunt down the history. That's.
Yes.
I mean, was it exciting over that period?
It is. It's every time you find a new photo or a new piece of information, it's like Christmas.
Now the seatbelts in there are really cool, but you said there was no seatbelts when this raced, right?
No, there were no seat belts at the time it was raced. They didn't have much safety provision back then.
And what are those? I think those seatbelts going to do much if this thing, if anything happens right now?
No, I always tell my wife it's just for her psychological comfort. If we get in a wreck in this thing, the seat belts aren't going to do much.
I'm fascinated because the engine is so small, but the tires are real small too. They're very skinny.
Yeah, because you don't have a lot of weight, you don't need as much grip through the turns, and so they're 12-inch wheels with fairly narrow tires.
How much work did you have to put into it to get it back to race condition?
Well, the car was all original, but because it had been languishing in a garage for 40 years, there was a lot we had to do mechanically, refurbish the car, go through the brakes, the gearbox, the engine, and then of course paint the car and replace the decals and the numbers as raced.
Was your wife totally on board from the get-go with this project?
And my wife initially was, she thought I was crazy for purchasing the car, but over time it's grown on her and she understands the history of it now that I've documented the history and so forth.
And you have a Fiat, and you said she's got a Fiat too, right?
Yeah, so she has a new Fiat Abarth 500, which is basically the same as this car, only 60 years newer.
That's something else. You got both ends of the spectrum with it.
That's right.
What's your favorite part about this car? When you pull it out, what's the one thing that really draws your eye to it?
For me, it's kind of a time machine. It takes me back to the 1950s, and I feel like I'm the race car driver driving along the Mille Miglia, so it's really all about the experience for me.
It's got to be fun to drive.
It is a blast to drive.
Coming up.
Outfitted with modern air conditioning as well as touchscreen entertainment.
A living room on wheels. Next. From project to pride and joy, the restoration specialists at Buckeye Classic Car Restoration can make your dreams come true. Our master body, paint, and mechanical technicians have over 100 years of experience. They do research, can communicate every detail of the restoration process, and their restorations win big-time awards. Buckeye Classic Car Restoration cars have been winning awards since 2001. Let the restoration specialists at Buckeye Classic Car Restoration turn your project into an award winner. Welcome back to the Horse Country Motor Classic on Cruise In. All right, Tom, this is a beautiful ride you have here. What is it?
This is a 1973 Jaguar Series 3 E-type.
And how long have you had it?
We have had this since New Year's Eve 1981, which is essentially 1982.
Wow, how about that? And how much work have you had to put into it since you got it?
It's been restored, so we've had it painted, we've had the engine gone over, we've had virtually every component in the car looked at, replaced as needed. Interior, new leather this year because the leather was 34 years old. It was the last time we replaced the leather, so it's been a long time. But you know, new wheels, new virtually everything.
Now, is this something that you fixed up pretty quickly, or has it been a process over time?
This has been taking a long time. We've literally been doing this for 30 years. But to mention the color, this is one of 82 in the world in this color. So it's a very, very rare color. Most people don't even realize this color existed, but it was an original color from 72 to 74 by Jaguar cars.
And in over 30 plus years, what have you been doing to it? Why is the process taking this long?
Oh, because it's really expensive. so it takes a really long time to save up enough money to actually be able to pull this off. And that's why it's taken so long. We aren't the kind of people that have a basket full of cash and just say, here, make it better, I'm giving you a year. It's literally taken us forever.
So it's been a passion project.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is a labor of love. This is our forever car. This is it for us. This is our baby.
Now, this is as original as original gets, correct?
This is rebuilt, restored to exact factory specifications. We have the seal, the lead sinker seal on the carburetors that are no longer available in the world. We have an original battery from 1973, literally a 1973 battery. We have the original or the proper wing nuts on the battery hold down. It's incredible attention to detail, right down to the striping on the hoses, on the inner connects on the carburetors.
My battery in my SUV won't last 2 winters. This is from 1973.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. This was an original unused battery. It had never had acid in it. So this guy, Earl Gibbs on the west side of Cleveland, had it in his warehouse. So when he brought it out, it still had the original factory tape on it, holding it closed. All we had to do was put acid in it, and then I promptly put a charger on it this winter and ruined it. So we just had to have the battery rebuilt because it sulfated the battery. It just malfunctioned.
Was that the original idea when you got this? You want to bring it all the way back to original?
Yeah, that was my original goal. Yeah, it's just taken a really long time to get there.
Did you know it was going to be that difficult of a process, or did you learn that along the way?
No, found that out as we went along. But mercifully, major parts are still available. The tiny things we've gotten our hands on, and we're good to go with those. So if we have to have our carburetors taken apart and rebuilt with those lead sinkers, we have more. But we're the only ones that have more.
So this is
cool.
This is legitimately a museum wherever you take it.
Yeah, that's a good way to say that. I've not thought of it that way, but literally, yes, this is, trying not to be arrogant, but it is truly one of the best of its kind in the world now.
Preserving a piece of history.
Thank you. Yeah,
that's
nice.
beautiful.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for showing it to us today.
It's our pleasure. It's what we love to do. We really do.
All right, Michael, what is this big boy you were standing next to here?
This vehicle that you're looking at here is a 1946 Dodge Power Wagon.
It doesn't look like it's from 1946, Michael.
Well, it's had a frame off restoration, and it's been reworked quite a bit.
This is really, really cool. So what was this? What kind of condition was this truck in before the restoration?
Well, as with most old war troop trucks, it was a little beat, it was a little rough. We actually picked this vehicle up after the restoration, which was done in Pennsylvania. But of course, it's made its way around the country, and by the time it got to us via open transport, it was quite rough as far as the overall paint condition, and a little bit of the interior was in desperate need of a deep cleaning.
How far did it come to you open transport?
Basically 3,000 miles.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So that thing went through the rigors of the entire nation, basically.
Absolutely. It caught every bug on the way.
So tell me a little bit about the bed. That lining, I mean, it looks like it's ready to go back into war if it needs to support some troops.
Yeah, this vehicle is very user-friendly. I have yet to see any active military vehicles utilizing this type of bed protection. But this bed is done in a Line-X material. It pretty much is almost an armor coating, if you will, for the bed. So it's very user-friendly, very durable. I dare you to scratch it if you could. You probably couldn't. But definitely great for hauling, people, troops, equipment if you had tools or whatever. You could definitely get whatever you need to get done in this vehicle.
But the inside's laid out, man. That's really, I mean, it looks like a brand new luxury vehicle in there.
Absolutely. You know, just because you're riding vintage doesn't mean that you have to, kind of forego the interior, the luxurious interiors. This vehicle has been outfitted with nice cushy leather seats. It's almost got kind of an air ride feel to it, especially when you're going and you're hitting bumps. You know, you just kind of float up and down. There's not that hard ride of the traditional Power Wagon. As well, this vehicle is outfitted with modern air conditioning as well as touchscreen entertainment.
So you could watch the Minions movie on the touchscreen and pull a semi-truck out of a ditch with the
Absolutely.
hitch in the front.
Absolutely. you know, yeah, you could pull a whole lot of minions out of a ditch.
It looks absolutely gorgeous, and I know someone's going to be very happy when they get a hold of this bad boy.
Oh, absolutely. If they don't want it, I'll definitely take it.
I was going to say, if you guys just I mean, I'll take it too. You know, I don't have the money to buy it per se, but yeah, I'll take it off your hands if you want.
See, that's why I've got the greatest job in the world. I get to drive everything, a little of everything, and I don't have to pay a note.
There you go. Couldn't get much better than that. Thank you so much,
Absolutely.
Michael.
Thank you.
Coming up.
Even though this is mostly like a cardboard material, a regular knife is not going to cut this stuff.
The Buckeye guys cut holes for speakers in a package tray. Next.
Welcome to this edition of Cruising with the Buckeye Guys. Today, we're going to install speakers in the package tray of a 1965 Mustang. It's pretty common with older cars. The masonite material held the package tray in place, and we're going to put the package tray in place, mark the speaker locations, cut the holes, put the speakers in, and refit the package tray, and you'll see it all done today.
Whenever you're putting these things in, normally they go under the window gasket seal in here, and you want to make sure they're centered side to side, because wherever you mark your holes at is where you're going to be cutting it.
All right, when you're good, I'll mark it from underneath. I'm taking a Sharpie black magic marker here to mark the radio cutout. What we have here is the package shelf is out of the car. One thing that's like a masonite material. Dave here is going to use a cutoff wheel and an angle grinder here to demonstrate how this is done. As you can see, we have the traces here for the speaker holes.
I just wanted to show you guys that even though this is mostly like a cardboard material, a regular knife is not going to cut this stuff. Now that we got it all trimmed up, we're going to go ahead and put it back in the car and make sure it all fits good.
Here's the speaker, Dave.
Thank you. Speaker fits in there nice and flat. Speaker also fits in there good, nice and flat. Yep, everything fits good.
In closing here with this segment of Cruising with the Buckeye Guys, you saw us install a package tray on a 1965 Mustang. We made modifications for the speakers, and once the speakers and modifications were made, it's test fitted again. It's going to go off to the paint process, and then we'll fit it back together. We are a full service shop located in Canfield, Ohio, and our phone number is 330-533-4757.
Next on Cruisin'.
It really likes to run around 60, 65 miles per hour and just sits there and cruises really nice.
Cruises in here next. Now back to the Horse Country Motor Classic on Cruisin'. All right, Pete, this is a beauty. You're the man who did the work on this, huh? And what do you got standing behind you right here?
This is a 1958 Alfa Romeo Giulietta Spider Veloce.
It is absolutely gorgeous. How much work did you have to do to this?
We completely restored this whole car. Just took it down to bare metal, replaced a bunch of sheet metal and painted, and put it all back together.
What exactly did it look like when you got it?
Pretty rusty, messed up car, no floors, engine on the floor, completely dismantled. So,
when you see a car like that, can you see the finished product in your mind, or you just see a ton of work ahead of you? Which one?
just a ton of work. Yeah, ton of work.
So I love the interior and the dashboard. Was that all pretty bad condition as well too?
Yeah, that's all been replaced, refurbished, repaired. So gauges were redone. So everything was replaced on this car.
Is this original color?
This is the original color.
What is that called?
Bianco white.
Bianco white. So that's much fancier because it's from Italy.
Yeah, it just means white.
Yeah, exactly. It's white. It's pretty redundant. It's white,
right.
correct? Yeah, exactly.
White.
And how long did this project take you?
This project took about 2 years.
Wow. Is that consistently working through, or is that,
That's off and on
Yeah.
throughout, based on the customer and what they're comfortable spending a month. So,
What is your favorite part of this car in particular?
the color. I like the color on this one. A lot of Alphas end up getting painted red, but white seems to really set it off really well. So.
Yeah, it seems like the ones I've seen are usually red with a red interior or red with a
Right.
white interior, but it's kind of the,
Yeah.
you don't see a lot of the white.
No, you don't.
And then when you get in this car and you drive it around and get up to pretty good speeds, you got to test the speed out, right?
Yeah, it goes pretty good. It really likes to run around 60, 65 miles per hour and just sits there and cruises really nice. So, really nice.
Well, if you missed the Horse Country Motor Classic, you missed this beautiful 1950 Willys right here. And Rich, this was donated to you guys, right?
Yeah, this was donated to us, Western Reserve Land Conservancy, by a donor of ours named Larry Betcher, who's from the Vermilion, Huron area.
It's gorgeous, original too, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much all original. It has the original engine in it, original mechanics, everything. The wheels are obviously new, but it's in mint condition. And it's the old Jeep Willys. Some people say Willis, some people call them Willys. Very cool car, military.
I'm a Willys, so I'm gonna go with Willys on this one. But you got your own car in it. This is a beautiful event. How long have you guys been doing this?
Well, we've been doing an event like this for nearly 10 years, but this is the second year where we do it in conjunction with the horse show, with the Grand Prix. This is called the Horse Country Motor Classic, and it used to be called the Horse Country Road Tour, where we actually would drive the cars around the valley.
It's absolutely gorgeous, and you couldn't pick a better setting. And man, the day. How'd you order this?
Mother Nature loves us.
Yeah, that's good. Called in some favors there. Well, it was a beautiful day down here in Chagrin Falls and a great show. Thanks to Rich and everybody, and thanks to you for tuning in. I'm Will Burge saying so long from Cruise In.